If you're over 60 and struggling to maintain your muscle strength, what I'm about to share could change everything. There's a specific window of time each night when your body is literally rebuilding muscle tissue, and most people are missing this crucial opportunity. I've seen patients lose their independence, their ability to walk without assistance, even their ability to live alone, all because they didn't know about this simple nighttime strategy. I'm Dr. Susan Miller, a geriatric medicine specialist with over 20 years of experience helping older adults maintain their strength and independence. Throughout my career, I've worked with thousands of patients who thought muscle loss was just an inevitable part of aging, but I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I strongly recommend hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss another health tip made especially for you. If you find this video helpful, please leave your questions and video suggestions in the comments below. I read every single one, and it helps me create more content to help people just like you. Let me tell you about Mr. Robert Chen, a 72-year-old retired carpenter from San Francisco. Robert came to my clinic 6 months ago, and honestly, I was shocked by what I saw. This was a man who had built homes with his bare hands for 45 years, someone who prided himself on his physical strength and independence. But when he walked into my office, he was using a walker and could barely stand up from a chair without help. His daughter, who accompanied him, told me with tears in her eyes that her father had fallen 3 times in the past 2 months. Robert himself looked defeated. He said something that broke my heart. "Doctor, I feel like I'm disappearing. My muscles are just melting away." What was happening to Robert is something called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. But here's what most people don't understand. While some muscle loss is natural as we age, the dramatic decline that Robert experienced was largely preventable. The key lies in understanding how our bodies rebuild muscle, especially during sleep, and providing the right nutritional support at the right time. You see, when we sleep, our bodies enter different phases of recovery and regeneration. During deep sleep, which typically occurs in the first half of the night, our bodies release growth hormone, a crucial compound for muscle repair and building. But here's the problem. As we age, not only do we produce less growth hormone, but our bodies also become less efficient at using the nutrients needed for muscle synthesis. This creates a perfect storm for muscle loss. Robert's case was particularly concerning because he had developed what we call anabolic resistance. This means his muscles had become resistant to the normal signals that tell them to grow and repair. He was eating reasonably well during the day, but his body simply wasn't using those nutrients effectively, especially for overnight muscle repair. When I ran his blood work, I found he was deficient in several key vitamins and minerals that are absolutely essential for muscle health in older adults. Now, let me talk about vitamin D, because this is where many people, including Robert, are making a critical mistake. Vitamin D isn't just for bone health, although that's important too. It plays a direct role in muscle function and protein synthesis. In my clinical experience, I've found that older adults with low vitamin D levels have significantly weaker muscles and are at much higher risk for falls. The research supports what I see in my practice. Vitamin D receptors are found in muscle tissue, and when these receptors aren't activated properly due to deficiency, muscle strength declines rapidly. But here's what surprised Robert, and it might surprise you too. The timing of when you take vitamin D can make a difference. While vitamin D is fat-soluble and can be taken at any time of day, I often recommend my patients take it in the evening with a meal that contains some healthy fats. Why? Because this ensures it's available during the overnight repair process when your body is working hardest to rebuild muscle tissue. Additionally, some emerging evidence suggests that vitamin D might play a role in sleep quality, and better sleep means better muscle recovery. Let me share another case that really illustrates this point. Mrs. Margaret Sullivan, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Boston, came to see me complaining of persistent muscle weakness and fatigue. Margaret was an active woman who loved gardening and playing with her grandchildren, but she found herself unable to keep up with these activities she cherished. She told me with frustration in her voice, "Dr. Miller, I feel like I'm 88, not 68. I can't even carry my grandson anymore, and he's only 2 years old." When I examined Margaret and reviewed her labs, I discovered she had multiple deficiencies, but one stood out dramatically. Her magnesium levels were extremely low. Now, magnesium is one of those minerals that doesn't get enough attention, but it's absolutely crucial for muscle health. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including protein synthesis, muscle contraction and relaxation, and energy production. Without adequate magnesium, your muscles simply cannot function properly or repair themselves effectively. What makes magnesium particularly interesting for nighttime use is its role in sleep quality and muscle relaxation. Many older adults struggle with restless legs, muscle cramps at night, or difficulty achieving deep sleep. These problems can all be related to magnesium deficiency. When Margaret started taking magnesium in the evening, she noticed within just a few days that her sleep improved and her nighttime leg cramps disappeared. But the real transformation happened over the next few months as her muscle strength gradually returned. Margaret's story taught me something important. Muscle loss doesn't happen overnight, and rebuilding muscle doesn't happen overnight either. It requires consistency, the right nutritional support, and most importantly, it requires addressing the underlying deficiencies that are preventing your body from doing what it naturally wants to do, which is maintain strong, functional muscle tissue. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, comment 1 below to show me you're following along. Now, let's talk about vitamin B12, because this is another critical piece of the puzzle that many people over 60 are missing. Vitamin B12 is essential for energy production, nerve function, and yes, muscle health. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food decreases dramatically. This is partly because our stomachs produce less acid, which is needed to release B12 from the protein in food. Additionally, many older adults take medications for acid reflux or diabetes that further interfere with B12 absorption. I had a patient, Mr. James Peterson, a 75-year-old retired accountant from Chicago, who came to me with what he described as overwhelming fatigue and weakness. James told me he felt like he was running on empty all the time. He said, "Doctor, I used to walk 3 miles every morning. Now I struggle to walk to my mailbox." What struck me about James was how rapidly his decline had occurred. Just 6 months earlier, he had been quite active and independent. When I tested James's B12 levels, I found they were critically low. This deficiency wasn't just affecting his energy levels, it was directly impacting his muscle function. You see, B12 is needed for the formation of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to your muscles. Without adequate oxygen delivery, your muscles cannot produce energy efficiently, and they cannot repair and rebuild properly during sleep. Additionally, B12 plays a role in maintaining the myelin sheath that protects your nerves, and when this deteriorates, the communication between your nerves and muscles becomes impaired. For James, I recommended a high-dose B12 supplement, specifically the methylcobalamin form, which is more easily absorbed and utilized by the body. I suggested he take it in the evening because B12 plays a role in regulating circadian rhythms and can support better sleep quality. Within just a few weeks, James reported feeling like a different person. His energy returned, his muscle strength improved, and he was back to his morning walks. 6 months later, he told me with pride in his eyes that he had recently completed a 5-mile charity walk for his local senior center. But if you thought those were the only important vitamins for nighttime muscle building, wait until you hear about this next one. Vitamin K2 is one of the most overlooked nutrients for muscle health in older adults, and honestly, it wasn't something I paid much attention to in my early years of practice. But the more I've learned about it, the more convinced I am that it plays a crucial role in maintaining muscle mass and strength as we age. Vitamin K2 works synergistically with vitamin D and calcium to not only support bone health, but also to prevent calcium from depositing in soft tissues, including muscles. When calcium builds up in muscle tissue, it impairs muscle function and can contribute to stiffness and weakness. Additionally, emerging research suggests that vitamin K2 may have direct effects on muscle metabolism and mitochondrial function, which is the energy-producing machinery of muscle cells. I recall Mrs. Linda Ramirez, a 65-year-old retired nurse from Miami, who came to me with complaints of muscle stiffness and weakness, particularly in her legs. Linda had been taking calcium and vitamin D supplements for years to protect her bones, but she wasn't taking vitamin K2. She told me, "Dr. Miller, I feel like my muscles have turned to stone. They're weak, but also so stiff and achy." Linda was particularly frustrated because she had always been proactive about her health, and she couldn't understand why she was experiencing these problems despite taking her supplements. When I explained to Linda about vitamin K2 and how it helps direct calcium to the bones rather than soft tissues, it was like a light bulb went on for her. We added a K2 supplement to her evening routine, specifically the MK7 form, which has a longer half-life and stays in the body longer. The transformation over the next few months was remarkable. Linda's muscle stiffness gradually decreased, and her strength improved. She told me at her 6-month follow-up, "I feel like I got my body back. I can move freely again without that constant stiffness." Now, here's something that might surprise you even more. Omega-3 fatty acids, which most people associate with heart health, are also crucial for muscle health in older adults. While technically not a vitamin, omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, have powerful anti-inflammatory effects that can help combat the chronic low-grade inflammation that contributes to muscle loss as we age. Let me tell you about Mr. Thomas Wright, a 70-year-old retired firefighter from Seattle. Thomas came to me frustrated and discouraged. He had been trying to maintain his muscle mass through regular exercise, but despite his efforts, he was losing ground. He said to me, "Doctor, I'm doing everything right. I'm lifting weights, I'm eating protein, but my muscles just keep getting smaller and weaker. What's happening to me?" When I evaluated Thomas, I found that while he was doing many things right, he had very high levels of inflammatory markers in his blood. This chronic inflammation was essentially creating a catabolic state, meaning his body was breaking down muscle faster than it could rebuild it, even with exercise and adequate protein intake. The inflammation was like a fire burning through his muscle tissue. I recommended that Thomas add a high-quality omega-3 supplement to his evening routine. Why evening? Because inflammation and muscle breakdown tend to be more active during sleep, and having omega-3 fatty acids on board during this time can help counter these destructive processes. Additionally, omega-3 fatty acids can improve insulin sensitivity, which is important because insulin is an anabolic hormone that helps drive nutrients into muscle cells for repair and growth. Thomas was skeptical at first. He said, "Fish oil for muscles? I thought that was just for my heart." But he was willing to try anything at that point. 3 months later, when Thomas came back for his follow-up, I could see the difference before he even spoke. He looked stronger, more confident. He told me that not only had his muscle mass stopped declining, but he had actually gained muscle for the first time in years. His inflammatory markers had also dropped significantly. If this information is resonating with you, I want you to know that you're not alone in this struggle. Muscle loss affects millions of older adults, but it's not a battle you have to lose. Let me talk about another crucial nutrient that ties all of this together: vitamin E. Now, vitamin E is primarily known as an antioxidant, but its role in muscle health is profound and often underappreciated. During exercise and even during normal daily activities, our muscles produce free radicals, which are unstable molecules that can damage muscle cells and impair recovery. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at neutralizing these free radicals, leading to increased oxidative stress and muscle damage. I treated Mrs. Patricia O'Brien, a 73-year-old retired librarian from Philadelphia, who exemplified this problem. Patricia came to me complaining of severe muscle soreness and prolonged recovery after even light activities. She told me, "Doctor, if I do anything more strenuous than light housework, I'm sore for days afterward." I used to bounce back quickly, but now even simple activities leave me feeling beaten up. When I assessed Patricia's antioxidant status and reviewed her diet, I found she was consuming very little vitamin E. This was contributing to excessive oxidative damage to her muscle tissue, slowing her recovery and limiting her ability to maintain muscle mass through activity. Vitamin E, especially when taken in the evening, can help protect muscle tissue during the overnight repair process when the body is working to fix the damage from the day's activities. After adding a vitamin E supplement to Patricia's evening routine, along with encouraging her to eat more vitamin E-rich foods like nuts and seeds, we saw a remarkable improvement. Within a few weeks, Patricia reported that her recovery time had shortened dramatically. She could do more activities without the debilitating soreness that had been holding her back. 6 months later, she proudly told me she had joined a gentle yoga class and was hiking with her grandchildren again, something she thought she'd never be able to do. But here's something crucial that I need you to understand. While individual vitamins and nutrients are important, they work best together as a team. This concept, called synergy, is why I never recommend just taking one supplement in isolation. For example, vitamin D works better when you have adequate magnesium, because magnesium is needed to activate vitamin D in the body. Similarly, vitamin K2 and vitamin D work together to support both bone and muscle health. This is why I often recommend that my patients take a comprehensive approach to nighttime supplementation. Let me share one more case that really brings all of this together. Mr. George Martinez, a 69-year-old retired construction worker from Denver, came to me in a wheelchair. George had experienced a severe decline in muscle mass and strength over the previous year, to the point where he could no longer walk independently. His wife, Maria, wheeled him into my office, and I could see the desperation in both their eyes. George said to me, "Dr. Miller, I built buildings my whole life. I was strong. Now I can't even get out of bed by myself. My wife has to help me with everything. This isn't living, this is just existing." George's case was complex. He had multiple vitamin deficiencies, poor sleep quality, chronic inflammation, and severe muscle loss. But what struck me most was his loss of hope. He truly believed that his condition was irreversible, just the inevitable decline of old age. I'm here to tell you, it wasn't. We put George on a comprehensive evening supplementation protocol that included vitamin D, magnesium, B12, vitamin K2, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin E, along with dietary changes and a very gentle, progressive exercise program. The transformation didn't happen overnight. For the first month, George saw only small improvements, mostly in his sleep quality and energy levels. But by the second month, he noticed he could stand for longer periods. By the third month, he was taking steps with a walker. 6 months into his treatment, George walked into my office on his own 2 feet, using only a cane for balance. Maria was crying tears of joy, and George, with moisture in his eyes, said to me, "Doctor, you gave me my life back. I thought I was done, but I'm just getting started again." George's story illustrates something vital. It's never too late to start supporting your body's natural ability to maintain and rebuild muscle. Even in severe cases of muscle loss, with the right support, significant improvement is possible. But the key is consistency and addressing all the factors that contribute to muscle health, not just one or two. Now, I want to address something important. The timing of when you take these supplements matters more than most people realize. Your body operates on a 24-hour cycle called the circadian rhythm, and different processes are more active at different times. During the night, particularly during deep sleep, your body shifts into repair and recovery mode. Growth hormone is released, muscle protein synthesis increases, and inflammatory processes are supposed to decrease. By providing your body with the nutrients it needs during this critical window, you're optimizing your body's natural muscle building and repair processes. Think of it this way. If your body is trying to rebuild muscle tissue during the night, but the raw materials it needs aren't available, it's like trying to build a house without having all the necessary materials delivered to the construction site. The workers are there and ready to build, but they can't complete the job without the right supplies. When you take these vitamins and nutrients in the evening, you're essentially ensuring that your body has everything it needs to do its repair work during the night. But I need to be very clear about something. Supplements are meant to supplement a healthy diet, not replace it. While I've seen tremendous results with evening supplementation in my patients, these nutrients work best when combined with a diet rich in whole foods, adequate protein intake, and appropriate physical activity. You can't out-supplement a poor diet or a completely sedentary lifestyle. Let me also address sleep quality, because this is intimately connected to muscle health. Many of the vitamins and minerals I've discussed, particularly magnesium and vitamin B12, play important roles in sleep regulation. If you're not sleeping well, your body cannot effectively repair and rebuild muscle tissue, no matter how many supplements you take. Poor sleep disrupts hormone balance, increases inflammation, and impairs protein synthesis. Several of my patients have found that their sleep quality improved significantly once they started their evening supplementation routine, which in turn accelerated their muscle recovery and growth. I want to talk about something that often doesn't get enough attention: hydration. While water isn't a vitamin, staying properly hydrated is absolutely crucial for muscle function and recovery. Muscle tissue is about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can impair muscle strength and recovery. Many older adults don't drink enough water, partly because the sense of thirst diminishes with age. I always tell my patients to drink a glass of water when they take their evening supplements, which serves the dual purpose of ensuring proper supplement absorption and supporting overnight hydration. Here's another important point. Not all supplements are created equal. The quality, form, and bioavailability of vitamins and minerals can vary dramatically between products. For example, magnesium glycinate is generally better absorbed and causes fewer digestive side effects than magnesium oxide. The methylcobalamin form of B12 is more bioavailable than cyanocobalamin. When you're choosing supplements, quality matters. I always encourage my patients to look for third-party tested products from reputable manufacturers. Now, I need to address some important safety considerations. While the vitamins and nutrients I've discussed are generally safe, they can interact with medications and may not be appropriate for everyone. For example, vitamin K can interact with blood thinners like warfarin. High doses of vitamin E can increase bleeding risk, especially if you're taking antiplatelet medications. Magnesium can interact with certain antibiotics and osteoporosis medications. This is why it's absolutely essential that you discuss any supplementation plan with your healthcare provider before starting, especially if you're taking medications or have any health conditions. I also want to emphasize that the goal here isn't just to take supplements and hope for the best. The vitamins and nutrients I've discussed should be part of a comprehensive approach to maintaining muscle health that includes regular resistance exercise, adequate protein intake, proper sleep, stress management, and regular medical checkups. Think of supplements as one tool in your toolbox, an important tool, but not the only one. Let me address something that many of my patients ask me. How long does it take to see results? Based on my clinical experience, most people start noticing improvements in energy and sleep quality within a few weeks of starting a proper supplementation routine. Improvements in muscle strength and mass take longer, typically 3 to 6 months, because building muscle is a slow process, especially as we age. This is why consistency is so important. You can't take supplements for a few weeks, not see dramatic results, and give up. Rebuilding muscle, especially when you're dealing with significant deficiencies and age-related changes, requires patience and persistence. I've had patients tell me they're frustrated because they're not seeing results as quickly as they'd like. I always remind them of George's story. His transformation didn't happen overnight. It took months of consistency, but the results were life-changing. The key is to stay committed to the process and trust that your body has an incredible capacity to heal and rebuild when given the right support. Here's something else I want you to know. It's never too early to start thinking about muscle health. While this video is focused on people over 60, the truth is that we start losing muscle mass as early as our 30s if we don't actively work to maintain it. If you're in your 50s or even 40s and watching this, the strategies I've discussed can help you prevent severe muscle loss rather than trying to reverse it later. Prevention is always easier than treatment. I also want to address the emotional and psychological aspects of muscle loss because this is something that profoundly affects my patients. Losing strength and independence doesn't just affect your physical health. It affects your mental health, your confidence, your sense of identity, and your quality of life. I've seen patients become depressed, anxious, and socially isolated because of muscle weakness. They stop doing the activities they love. They stop seeing friends. They become afraid to leave their homes for fear of falling. The loss of muscle is often accompanied by a loss of joy and purpose in life. This is why I'm so passionate about helping people maintain their muscle health. When my patients regain their strength, they don't just regain the ability to walk or carry groceries. They regain their independence, their confidence, their ability to engage with life fully. I've seen patients who were depressed and withdrawn become vibrant and socially active again. I've seen marriages improve when one partner no longer has to be a full-time caregiver for the other. The impact of maintaining muscle health extends far beyond just physical function. Now, let me give you some practical guidance on how to implement what I've shared with you. First, if you suspect you might be deficient in any of these vitamins or minerals, schedule an appointment with your doctor and ask for blood work. Testing your vitamin D, B12, and magnesium levels is relatively straightforward and can give you valuable information about what you need. Don't guess or self-diagnose. Get tested so you know exactly what you're dealing with. Second, if you decide to start supplementation, start with 1 or 2 supplements at a time rather than everything at once. This allows you to monitor how your body responds and makes it easier to identify if something isn't agreeing with you. I typically recommend starting with vitamin D and magnesium, as these are the most common deficiencies I see in older adults, and then adding other supplements as needed based on your individual situation. Third, set yourself up for success by creating an evening routine. Keep your supplements in a visible place with a glass and a bottle of water nearby. Some of my patients use a pill organizer to keep track of their supplements and ensure they don't miss doses. Consistency is key, and having a routine makes consistency much easier. Fourth, be patient and give the process time to work. As I mentioned earlier, you're not going to wake up with bigger muscles after one night of taking supplements. This is a gradual process that requires weeks to months to see significant results. Keep a journal tracking your energy levels, sleep quality, muscle strength, and overall function. Sometimes progress happens so gradually that we don't notice it unless we're deliberately paying attention. Fifth, combine your supplementation with other healthy habits. Make sure you're eating enough protein throughout the day. Aim for at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, and spread it out across your meals. Engage in regular resistance exercise, even if it's just light weights or resistance bands. Stay hydrated, get adequate sleep, manage stress. All of these factors work together to support muscle health. I want to leave you with a message of hope and empowerment. If you're experiencing muscle loss, weakness, or decline in physical function, please don't accept it as an inevitable part of aging that you have no control over. While some changes are natural as we age, the severe muscle loss that robs people of their independence and quality of life is often preventable and reversible with the right approach. Your body wants to be strong. It wants to maintain muscle. It has sophisticated repair and rebuilding mechanisms that work every single night while you sleep. Sometimes, all it needs is the right nutritional support at the right time to do what it's designed to do. By taking these vitamins and nutrients in the evening, you're giving your body the tools it needs to repair and rebuild muscle tissue during those critical nighttime hours. Remember Robert, the retired carpenter who came to me using a walker? He's now back to doing woodworking projects in his garage. Remember Margaret, the retired teacher who couldn't carry her grandson? She recently sent me a photo of herself at the playground with her grandchildren, smiling and full of life. Remember James, who couldn't walk to his mailbox? He completed a 5-mile charity walk. And George, who came to me in a wheelchair? He's walking independently again. These aren't miracles. These are examples of what's possible when we support our bodies properly. These patients didn't have access to anything special or expensive or complicated. They simply addressed their nutritional deficiencies, supported their body's natural repair processes, and stayed consistent with their efforts. If they can do it, you can too. I urge you to take action today. Don't wait until the muscle loss becomes severe and debilitating. Don't wait until you've lost your independence or quality of life. Talk to your doctor about getting tested for nutritional deficiencies. Discuss whether evening supplementation might be appropriate for you. Start making the changes that will support your muscle health for the long term. Your future self, the version of you 5 or 10 years from now, will thank you for taking action today. The choices you make now about supporting your muscle health will determine whether you're active, independent, and engaged with life in your 70s, 80s, and beyond, or whether you're struggling with weakness, falls, and loss of independence. Remember, it's never too late to start supporting your muscle health, but it's also never too early. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, your body still has the capacity to maintain and even build muscle when given the right support. Don't give up on yourself. Don't accept decline as inevitable. You have more control over your muscle health than you might think. If you found this information valuable, please share this video with someone you care about who might be struggling with muscle loss or weakness. Leave your questions and experiences in the comments below. I read every comment and love hearing your stories and answering your questions. Your engagement helps me create more content that addresses the issues that matter most to you. Most importantly, I want you to schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider to discuss what we've talked about today. Show them this video if it helps. Get tested for deficiencies. Create a personalized plan that addresses your specific needs and health situation. Your doctor knows your medical history and can guide you on the safest and most effective approach for you specifically. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to invest in your health. Remember, maintaining your muscle strength and independence isn't just about living longer. It's about living better, with vitality, purpose, and the ability to do the things you love with the people you love. You deserve to age with strength and dignity, and I hope the information I've shared today helps you on that journey. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.